So, for my project, I chose to discuss the life, work, and influence of Rollo May. Rollo May is regarded as the founder of American existentialist psychotherapy and was born on April 21st in 1909 in Ada, Ohio. May's discordant parents, whom he often described as having an irreconcilable relationship, along with a sister who struggled with mental illness, undoubtedly influenced his later interest in psychology and counseling. May received his bachelor's degree in English from Oberlin College in Ohio in 1930 with minors in Greek history and literature. He taught English at Anatolia College in Salonika, Greece from 1930 to 1933 and attended various seminars of Alfred Adler there, whom he would eventually expand the ideas of. He had a change of heart career-wise and enrolled at the Union Theological Seminary in New York City, where he studied with Paul Tillich, a renowned existentialist and theologian, and Reinhold Niebuhr, a theologian, ethicist, and political commentator. These individuals had a profound influence on his later thinking and work. He graduated with a Bachelor of Divinity degree in 1938 and worked as a minister from 1938 to 1940. During this time, he also married Florence de Vries and had a son and twin daughters. Once again, having a change of heart, he enrolled in the psychology program at Columbia University in New York City. When writing his dissertation, he was diagnosed with tuberculosis in 1942. This was a life-changing event and prompted him to ponder death and solidified his views on existentialism. After recuperating, he graduated with a PhD in clinical psychology in 1949. He established his own private practice during this time in 1946 as well. For 30 years, he served as a lecturer and visiting professor at various prominent universities, including Harvard and Yale. In the 1960s, Rollo May became a leader in challenging the prominent positions of behaviorism and psychoanalysis and emphasized the unique, conscious elements of individual psychology. He married Ingrid Schoel in 1971, but divorced in 1975, and he emphasized his parents' marital problems as a contributing factor in his failed marriages. He continued his private practice in California in 1975, where he would remain until his death on October 22nd, 1994, at the age of 85. May's work was shaped by psychoanalytic, humanistic, and Jungian approaches to psychotherapy, as well as by his belief in the importance of individuals living with freedom, honesty, and responsibility in order to achieve self-actualization. The concept of freedom is emphasized in nearly every one of Rollo May's works. For May, freedom is implied when individuals accept realities not due to blind necessity but by conscious choice. He believed freedom involves recognizing the limitations of freedom in one's own life. This awareness, along with choosing among many possibilities and despite limitations and anxiety, results in one's increased capacity to respond and to design their own world rather than following things blindly, and the opportunity to have a firm responsibility for themselves. One of May's most major works was his book titled The Meaning of Anxiety, published in 1950. In this work, he expressed the idea that freedom is the goal of personality development, and this brings about anxiety. However, it is only through accepting and facing this anxiety that the potential for true freedom arises. He also distinguished between normal and neurotic anxiety, and contrary to popular beliefs at the time, May did not perceive anxiety as a symptom that needed to be cured, but rather as a pathway for exploring the meaning of life. He believed individuals can learn to convert normal anxiety into a powerful force for creating new behaviors, and subsequently become free. However, if one runs away from their normal anxiety, they surrender their freedom. Furthermore, another one of Rollo May's major works was his book titled Man's Search for Himself, published in 1953. In this work, May emphasizes his idea of integration, which means that as free individuals who are responsible for one's own actions, one's goal should be to separate ourselves from the conformity and integrate with others in love and creative work that is freely chosen. He also discusses his concept of the human dilemma and argues that individuals need to view themselves as active participants or subjects in their own lives rather than objects in order to live authentically and not be guided by things that we have not freely chosen. May's book titled Love and Will, published in 1969, was an additional major work of his. In this work, he distinguishes between 4 types of love, including sex, eros, philia, and agape. He also criticized modern society for neglecting the true nature of love and will, and regarding love as the same thing as sex and equating will with willpower. He expressed the belief that those who are psychologically healthy and are able to combine love and will because both imply care, responsibility, choice, and action. In this work, he also expresses how both will and intentionality constitute a commitment to actualize one's potential for fuller being. The book titled Courage to Create, published in 1975, was one of Rollo May's major works as well. In it, he maintains that creativity, requiring the courage to be oneself, is crucial for living authentically and achieving self-actualization. He emphasizes the importance of using creativity to foster new behaviors and overcoming neurotic anxiety and becoming free. He argues that the creative process invokes anxiety, and thus courage is needed to overcome this and in order to remain true to who one is. In addition to his many books, May also created an outline for existential therapists to follow, which include his 3 essential dimensions of the therapeutic process, including wish, will, and decision and responsibility. 2 assumptions that resulted in the development of this therapeutic process were: 1, he stressed the importance of the healing power of the relationship between the therapist and the client, and the value of being an authentic counselor. 2, he also believed that people enter therapy because they have become inwardly enslaved by factors such as anxiety and choice, and they yearn to be set free. Many elements of Rollo May's existential theory are still relevant today, especially given the fact that people still struggle with themes of anxiety, choice and responsibility, freedom, courage, intentionality, and living authentically. Despite this relevance, Rollo May is not as significant of a voice in the field as he once was, and there are 2 main reasons for this. First, recently there has been a push in the counseling domain to institutionalize treatment strategies, limit sessions, and require the use of specific strategies for insurance purposes. This is incongruent with many aspects of the existential approach, specifically in the fact that it is more of a frame of reference than a specific therapy method, and does not support any given technique over another. May saw this coming and argued that this trend of fragmenting humans into a collection of patterns or mechanisms leads to a profound, dehumanizing, and inaccurate view of human nature. Second is the idea that the existential approaches are more philosophical in nature rather than scientifically based. May felt this resistance and argued that every scientific method is based on philosophical assumptions, and a science that is blind to its underlying philosophy or claims not to have one is a danger to scientific and intellectual pursuits. Despite these resistances, many psychotherapists continue to operate from an existentialist frame of reference. Given that it is a frame of reference rather than a specific school or set of techniques, it can be used in conjunction with other therapeutic techniques and orientations. Additionally, many have expanded upon Rollo May's work and ideas. For instance, Rollo May mentored and introduced James Buchenthal, a founding father of humanistic psychology, to the existential psychology orientation. Buchenthal went on to co-found the Journal of Humanistic Psychology, which helped to popularize and preserve the existential humanistic psychotherapy approach. Others have proposed a new approach called existential depth psychology, which combines Jungian analysis and Rollo May's existential psychotherapy into a new treatment approach to psychotherapy, as well as existential integrative therapy, which combines the more empirical side of counseling with the more holistic existential focus of therapeutic healing. Although Rollo May's specific approaches or theories may not be used widely today, he has inspired many to expand upon his work, and glimmers of his wisdom can still be found throughout mainstream psychotherapy. These last 2 slides contain my references.